Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. Today we are going to revise over our knowledge of fact families. So fact families, remember, are three numbers that are related to each other and can create four different number sentences. When we create these number sentences, we have two multiplication number sentences and two division number sentences. Now we're going to take a look at an example of a fact family. So we have three numbers here, 6, 2, and 12. So our job is to try and notice the relationship that they have together. So think about how can we use multiplication to multiply two of these numbers to get the other number? And how can we use division to divide one of these numbers by the other, resulting in our answer? So remember, we're only ever using these three numbers when we're creating our four number sentences. What is really important to remember when we get these three numbers that they have four relationships between them. First, we're going to take a look at the multiplication relationship. So let's look at our array that we have here. We have 6 rows. So 6 is our first number in our multiplication sentence. And in each row, we have a look, there are 2 cars. So this shows us that 6 multiplied by 2 gives us 12. And if we were to count these cars, there would be 12. And we can check that by using our skip counting knowledge of 2 by going 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now, by swapping the order of our numbers around, by placing the 2 first, then the 6, it changes our multiplication equation, but it gives us the same product. So because our 2's first, we now have 2 rows, 1, 2, and the next number shows us how many are in each row. So we have 6 cars in each row, giving us the product of 12. So this is our multiplication relationship of our three numbers. Let's take a look at the division relationship. When we are looking at the division relationship, as you can see, we start with the largest number in our number sentence. So we look at how many we have in our array or our picture altogether, and that's our first number. So we know we have 12 cars. Here in our first picture, we can see we've got 12 cars and we're dividing them into two groups. One group, two group. And our answer, which we call our quotient when we are doing division problems, is how many cars are in each group, and we can see clearly we have 6 cars in each group. Our next number sentence, showing our fourth relationship between these three numbers, is 12, which is our first number because we have 12 cars. This time, instead of dividing them up into two groups, we're dividing them into 6. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and our answer is how many is in each group, which is 2 cars. So for multiplication, you can see here, we've got an array and it's filled with yummy cookies. And if you have a look, we can see in our number sentence, the first number always tells us how many rows we have. So we can check that here, that we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. And our next number in our multiplication sentence tells us how many we have in each row, and we can clearly see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cookies in each row. So 4 multiplied by 5 equals 20, and we can check that by using our times tables of 5 to skip count, because we can see we've got 5 in each row, so we can easily go 5, 10. Now I might write that here so you can see it out. 5, 10. Sorry, I'm not very good at using this pencil. 15, 20. Because we want to save time rather than counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can use that recognition of our 5 times table. So 4 multiplied by 5 is 20. But this one, instead of it being 4 multiplied by 5, they have just swapped the numbers around. And we can see that our product, being our answer, still stays exactly the same. So because 5 is our first number, that means we have 5 rows. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our next number in our number sentence tells us how many we have in each row, which is 4. And our product is 20. So we could check by counting by 4s because we can see there's 4 in each row. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. But we could also still count by our 5s because we can see if we look down in the columns, that's 5. And we can use our rows. So it's really important to remember, even when our factors, being the numbers in our multiplication sentence, are swapped around, that our product, which is our answer, always stays the same. Let's take a closer look at our division facts. So our dividend, which is the number that we are dividing, is our first number in our number sentence. So we've got 20 cookies. We are dividing them into 5 groups. So we've got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, and 5 groups. And then we're going to have a look at how many is in each group. So we've got 4 cookies in each group. If we were drawing an array, our 5 divided by 5 would just be our 5 rows, and there would be 4 cookies in each row. So we could still use our array from the previous slide. Our next division fact would be swapping those smaller numbers around. So this time, instead of having 5 groups, we've got 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we have 5 cookies in each group. So let's have a look at this array. Can we create 2 multiplication and 2 division number sentences? I want you to pause the video here and have a look and see if you can give this a shot. Remember, when we're creating our multiplication number sentences, that we are multiplying how many rows there are, which is 3, by how many columns there are. And then if we swap those numbers around, it's going to give us a different equation, but with the same product. And if we are creating our division number sentences, we start with how many we have altogether first. So we'll look at how many apples we have and then divide them by how many rows we have. Give it a shot. Once you've had it a go, press play and see if you've got it right. Okay, so our multiplication sums that you should have had is 3 multiplied by 8. We get 3 because there are 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. And by 8 because there are 8 apples in each row. And if we count all our apples all together, there are 24. Remembering, if we swap our rows and our columns, that gives us a different number sentence but the same product. Then our division equations, we have 24 divided by 3 because we begin with 24 apples and then we split them up into 3 groups, which is our 3 rows. And in each row we have 8 apples, which is where we get our answer from. Our next number sentence is 24 divided by 8. So this time we are looking at the columns because they are split up into 8 columns. And then we're looking at how many are in each column, which is 3. Final one, and I want you guys to see if you can do this one independently. Have a look at this array. Can you write a multiplication number sentence to match what you see in this array? Is there more than one number sentence to write? And could you use a division number sentence? So remember, we already know the answer, that you're going to be able to create 4 number sentences, 2 being multiplication and 2 being division. Good luck. Hopefully you guys were able to have a go at creating 2 multiplication and 2 division number sentences. Here are your answers. Now for your work time activity, you're going to be using 3 numbers to create fact families just like we were doing throughout this video. Enjoy your learning today, guys.